So when SNAP benefits are cut, the pain ripples far beyond the checkout line, because the face of hunger is not abstract. It's our neighbors, it's our kids, our seniors, our teachers, our veterans, and our working parents. Our nonprofit and faith partners, many of whom are standing here with me today, and thank you so much for being here and spending your time with me this morning, are already seeing demand at food pantries increase by as much as 300%. Rising prices, stagnant wages, and the recent federal shutdown have all pushed many families to the breaking point. And the data gives us a very clear picture of hunger in Jacksonville. More than 8 in 10 local households on SNAP have either children or senior citizens living with them. Nearly 6,000 of our city's veterans rely on SNAP. And in the hardest hit neighborhoods in Jacksonville, as many as 8 in 10 homes are on these benefits. You can see the full picture on our stateofjax.org and on jacksonville.gov dashboards, which look at hunger across every neighborhood in Jacksonville. Reduced benefits also mean higher health costs. Here's the deal. Every dollar we cut from food assistance today becomes $3 we will spend later on health care and emergency aid. I'm going to say that again. Every dollar we cut from food assistance today becomes $3 we will spend later in health care and emergency aid. The city of Jacksonville has been tackling this challenge well before today, as you know. Since last year, more than 3,000 military families have been assisted at our monthly food pharmacies, which are now being scaled up thanks to a generous donation from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we thank you all so much for that. Our entire community participated in the Peanut Butter Challenge. Yep, I'll take the woohoo for that, yes. And we have worked together with our city council to fund meals for seniors. People across our city are raising their hands to help. Last week, 3 high school students, Shreya, Ashna, and Ruby, showed up in my office with 500 cans of food, more than 500, at City Hall. They made me so proud. They're a great example to all of us that we all play a role in solving hunger in our community. With collaboration in mind, our administration is launching the Duval Care Coalition. That's what you see here before you today. We are made up of faith leaders, nonprofits, and community partners on the front lines of hunger relief. Together, we're coordinating with Feeding Northeast Florida and other faith-based institutions to better support existing food banks and mobile pantries. In fact, Bill Carnegie, the COO of Feeding Northeast Florida, had planned to speak with us. He had planned to be here today, but they are so overwhelmed with the demand right now that he couldn't be here. We appreciate all the work that they're doing to help people who need assistance. We're partnering with United Way's 211 helpline to make sure families can find food. And a reminder, please do not call 911 for this type of assistance. 211 is available 24/7 for your family needs, from hunger to health to housing. We're working with our independent authority partners on innovative ways that they can support this work as well. JEA is now modifying the criteria for customers to qualify for short-term payment arrangements, but they have a number of other things they're working on too, and we really appreciate their focus on this. We're engaging our grocery and logistics partners to increase food donations and volunteers. We're directing our data team to identify which neighborhoods need the most help. And we have developed a page on the city website with a list of local food pantries and distribution locations so people know where to go to get help. It also offers ways to donate if you are in a position to help. And we've had a lot of people ask about that. So if you are in a position to help, obviously we would love it if you can. Just visit jacksonville.gov/Duval Care Coalition to learn more about all the ways that you can do that. We remain hopeful that our state and federal partners will fully restore this lifeline to so many. Severing it, even briefly, creates a crisis that no city can solve alone. These cuts do not save money. They just shift the costs onto our hospitals, our schools, and our nonprofits. They deepen inequality in Jacksonville, and that is not a good outcome for any of us. I'm grateful that Councilman Ken Amaro is here. Thank you, Ken. And I look forward to, yes, thank you, Ken. I look forward to continuing to partner with him and the entire City Council to address hunger in our community. I'm also grateful for the organizations that have agreed to be part of the Duval Care Coalition. Together, we are breaking down silos, so important in this work, and creating a blueprint to solve our short and long-term quality of life challenges. So let's make sure that no child in Jacksonville goes to bed hungry, that no senior is left to choose between food and medicine, and that no veteran has to stand in a food line after serving our country. Thank you, and now I would like to call up my dear friend, Councilman Ken Amaro.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. This is a difficult subject, and it may not be difficult for you because you have some food in your refrigerator. But we're all just a step away. A day or two ago, I opened the Nextdoor app after seeing a post about the number of Jacksonville residents who've been impacted by the snafu, almost 15%. What caught my attention even more was a breakdown of the city council member districts. Member Jacoby Pittman, her district had the highest impact, followed by Tyrona Clark Murray, and then District 1, Arlington, was the third highest, 20.62%. That simply means that 1 in every 5 households receive SNAP benefits. I'm surprised by the numbers, but perhaps I shouldn't be. Because over the last several months, I have seen firsthand the long lines on the weekends at the church Crepa on Arlington Expressway. And I've seen the long lines at the Presbyterian Church on University Club Boulevard, where the Dobson Sisters operates a food pantry. Now, I come to you today not with any easy answers because I don't have them. But I come with a heart full of compassion. What we're seeing is more than a policy issue. Folks, it's a human thing. It's real people, just like you and I. One of my many life lessons has been that just like death, just like cancer, hunger doesn't care where you live. Hunger doesn't care about your gender. Hunger doesn't care about your age. It's unapologetic, and it will afflict you in such a manner that it will steal your dignity while you are fighting for your own survival. And when government is no longer by the people and for the people, we end up with communities like mine, District 1, and all the other 14 city council districts, some not as impacted as much as those that have already been mentioned, where households are living in fear of hunger. The loss of SNAP benefits has left many, many families facing difficult choices. I can see parents skipping meals so their children can eat. I can see seniors stretching every dollar, choosing between the cost of medicine over the cost of food. The pain and the fear is real. In this great country we call America that we love so dearly, no one should have to choose between rent and groceries, between feeding their kids and keeping the lights on. And I know that many of you here today because you believe in public service, you believe in giving back, and now I would encourage you, based on what the mayor said a second ago, that we need to lean in, we need to lean on each other. We need these partnerships. We need to turn this pain that is afflicting District 1 and all the other city council districts into a purpose. The mayor mentioned collaboration. It has to be expanded. The mayor mentioned resources. We have to tell folks and take folks to these resources. This is a faith-based nation that we live in. And I'm reminded driving in this morning of the words of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in Matthew 25, when he tells a simple story about a king who came home and was deciding to separate the sheep from the goats. The sheep would go on the right, the goats on the left. And he used a little illustration when he placed the sheep over there. He said, because you fed those who were hungry, because you clothed those who were naked, because you visited those who were sick, you're over here. And they looked at the king and said, when did we do all that? And the king said, when you did it to others, you did it to me. We as a society, as a community, we have to come together and collaborate, and we have to lean in on each other to address this crisis. I don't know if it's a policy issue where city council has to dole out money. I don't know if it's an issue where the community as a whole just have to say, we're going to stand up and make a difference. In the words of Dr. King, he says that, I won't remember the words of our enemies, but I'll remember the silence of those, my friends, who did nothing. So my encouragement this morning is that we all need to get on board. This is an issue that it may not affect your home, but I tell you, if you look across the fence, it's probably affecting your neighbor next door.
Good morning. My name is Kate Wers, and I'm with Downtown Ecumenical Services Council, it's DESC for short, and we provide emergency food, clothing, and financial assistance. With overwhelming numbers of households in our lobbies, we are seeing a great need for food and funds to help as we move through this crisis. Please support this coalition with food or money, whatever you can bring to the table. We can only do this with your help. And now we're going to hear from 2 SNAP recipients.
Hello, my name is Lonranda Lofton. I am a disabled Army veteran and a triple negative breast cancer patient. Also a single mother of 2 special needs kids. This, as he called it, snafu, has impacted my family greatly to ensure that not only through everything that I'm battling to make sure it doesn't touch my kids. I've been without my benefits and things have been struggling. I'm not even gonna lie to you, it's been a real struggle. I am on a fixed income from just my disabled veteran salary. So stretching that between me, my kids, gas, rent, and now groceries, it's hard. I know people say, oh, being on SNAP is a embarrassment. To me, it's a stepping stone for me to help my kids get to a better place. And I just thank everybody that does donate. It doesn't go unnoticed in the veteran community, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank y'all.
Good morning. My name is Toy Martin. Y'all have to excuse me because this hit hard. I'm a cancer survivor. And life brings on different situations and circumstances. It allowed me to have to apply for my EBT. When I only been receiving the EBT for a few months, but without it, I would be 99 pounds soaking wet. I cannot afford to buy extra food because I'm unemployed. But the last year, I took care of my sick mother. So when I got back to Florida a year ago, December, I had to give up my job to go and take care of my mom. So getting the EBT stamps is a blessing to me. I not only eat off the EBT, I'm in a neighborhood that's the Kid Night area that I help feed with my leftovers. I help feed my neighborhood. I have 20 people a month that I feed on every Sunday. Now I'm not able to do that, so my leftovers, I have to put them in freezer bags so I'll be able to eat next month without my stamps. So it impacted me more than one way, not just me, but my neighborhood too. They look forward to me feeding them those 4 times a month. I only get the minimum for a single person, but I make it work. I scratch and I still help others with the benefits that I receive. And without that, I can't help myself and I can't help my community where those people depend on me on that Sunday to get that meal. So with that being said, is whoever, whatever we have to do to make sure our families and our neighbors and friends eat, we got to do it. It's hard. It's hard. And it's depressing and it's stressful knowing you don't know when your next meal coming from. That's a hard pill to swallow. And I'm here to tell everybody that whoever helped with the donations or whatever, we really do appreciate it. We need to know more about resources to help ourselves in order for me to help others. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your willingness to come and tell your stories. That's hard, y'all. It's hard to stand up here in front of people and say that you need help and to ask others to come and help, not only yourself but other people. It's hard to do that. And yet, these ladies did that, and I love you. Thank you. I'll say what I said at the very beginning. Jacksonville is a city that takes care of its people, and we will do that. This is a city with a big heart. And I think when you tell people what the need is, when you explain to them, to our business community also what is needed, when we talk about the economic impact to our entire community, all of it together should paint a picture. And that is that we all have to lift together to make Jacksonville the city that we want it to be, and that is a city that loves its people. So I'll be glad to take any questions from you guys. If you'd rather I come over there, or if you want to talk to any of these guys, you let me know. We'll do it however you want to do it. But that's our...
At all? Oh.
Not that I'm aware of at the moment. Not that I'm aware of.
Would that be helpful?
Well, as I said, I remain hopeful that our federal and state partners will recognize the gravity of this situation. And this is, from my understanding, this is the first time in our country's history that we have paused SNAP benefits during a government shutdown. Look, I don't even begin to want to get involved in federal politics. I will simply say that these are real lives that are being affected. This is our community. And so it is our responsibility, while they're trying to get all that together, to do what we can. And certainly we would hope and expect our state and federal partners to do the same. Yes.
If someone in the community needs help, will they contact this organization? You all will give them food, or will you direct them to places that can offer them services?
Well, what you can see is that we have put together this website to direct them to every place. Okay. Not only are we showing where the need is greatest, but we're showing them every place where they can get help. And in whatever ways that we can help connect people to those services, we will. I've had so many people over the last couple of days, since they've known we've been doing this, start to send me ideas of things that we can do. I got a note this morning saying that Aldi is putting together a Thanksgiving feast for $40, and could people just go buy that and bring that to? I mean, there's all sorts of ways. If you know a family that is in need, help that family. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to do that, right? I think that the number one step to any sort of solution is awareness and education. And that's really the purpose of this today. You can see we have a community that cares and is banding together to try to create a safety net for our community. As I said, no community will be able to handle this on our own for the long term. For the long term, we need more solutions, but right now we have to get together and help those that we see in front of us that have a need. Yes.
Earlier this week, I was eating breakfast, and my 10-year-old child, who's in 5th grade, said, "Oh, well, there's a kid in my class who eats his breakfast really fast because that's the only meal he knows he's going to get that day." As the mayor of Jacksonville, when you hear of stories of children, because children can't work and they can't feed themselves, when you hear stories of children being concerned about where their next meal is coming from, what comes to your mind, and what are ways that you think that more people should know just how many children are impacted by this current shutdown and lack of SNAP benefits?
Well, listen, if you look at the overall entirety of who benefits the most from SNAP benefits, it's children. It's children and seniors. Those are the two groups that benefit the most from SNAP benefits. So, again, I'll say what it says to me is that not in this country, not in this community, should children go hungry. I mean, if we aren't recognizing that most fundamental of need, if you can't eat, you can't be a healthy person. If you can't be healthy, you can't have a quality of life. For a parent, I mean, you know, remember that old American Lung Association adage, if you can't breathe, nothing else matters? That's what we're talking about here. There are people in our community, and we're telling you, a lot of people, and many of them children, nothing else. Don't even talk to them about anything else. You can't see another issue when you can't eat. You know, I mean, that's what I really, when we talk about quality of life issues, I mean, this is the most fundamental. So I know we don't want to be a community where our children have to go hungry. No. Well, listen, it's extraordinarily important. And it's one of the reasons that we are so intent on mining the data through State of Jax to make sure that we know exactly what neighborhoods are hardest hit and how we compare with other communities. I think that's incredibly important information. But the fact is, while that is true and we need to know those numbers, it affects the entirety of our city. It's not just those communities that are affected. It affects the entirety of our city. And so I would hope that people would care regardless, but we need to focus on those communities, and we need to tell the story of why this takes all of Jacksonville and drags it down, not just those communities that are vastly affected. But you cannot have a successful city while you have whole communities where people are going hungry. That's not a recipe for success. Yes.
I had a question over here, sorry.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Does the city plan to continue on this coalition even after the government shutdown ends, and just to address the food insecurity overall in Jacksonville?
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, this is something that, as I said, we have been addressing piecemeal for a while, and these organizations, these faith leaders, some of these organizations, that's all they focused on for forever, right? So the whole goal here is let's build a coalition. Let's make sure that not only is everybody educated and aware of the problem, where the problems persist, where they're the worst, and let's all band together with everything that we have to be able to solve that problem. It's not just, this has exacerbated a problem that was already there, okay? So what do we talk about all the time when I'm talking about my priorities for this city, right? It's quality of life, it's health, it's housing, it's affordability. Those are quality of life issues. And hunger is at the very root of all that, and it's more pervasive than people understand. So this coalition may have been born of this crisis, but we absolutely need to keep it together and keep going to make sure that we don't have hungry people in our city. Yes.
You can't do it alone, but is there any role for the city to provide financial assistance in the short term?
Well, look, those, as Ken said, those will be discussions that we have to have. We are just putting this coalition together. I think the idea, the first step is to build it, and then to make sure that people understand the data, to make sure that our neighbors know that if they can help, they should help and get all that help going. But certainly we have to continue to discuss that. You know, what role does the city play? I've said very often, we can't be the answer to everything. But if there is a quality of life issue in our community that is not being addressed by the private sector, that's our job to address that issue for our citizens. We are here as a public service to make sure that our citizens have what they need to have a good quality of life. That's a successful city, when people have a good quality of life. And so I don't think we leave any stone unturned as we're looking at this. Okay, thank you all very much for coming.